Marseille since the 1930s, a name coined for commercial use by the French cardmaker and cartomancer Paul Martineau, owner of BP Grimaud. Previously this deck was called Tarot Italian, Italian Tarot, and even earlier it was simply called Tarot. Before being de Marseille, it was used to play the local variant of Tarocchi before it became used in cartomancy at the end of the 18th century, following the trend set by Antoine Court de Gibelin. The name Tarot de Marseille, Martineau used the name Ancien Tarot de Marseille, was used by contrast to other types of tarots such as Tarot de Besançon. Those names were simply associated with cities where there were many card makers in the 18th century. Previously several cities in France were involved in card making. 76. Another local tradition is the making of santons, small handcrafted figurines for the traditional Provençal Christmas quiche. Since 1803, starting on the last Sunday of November, there has been a Santon fair in Marseille. It is currently held in the Cours d'Estienne d'Orves, a large square off the Vieux Port d'Opera. The Opera de Marseille, Marseille's main cultural attraction was, since its creation at the end of the 18th century and until the late 1970s, the opera. Located near the Old Port and the Quai at the very heart of the city, its architectural style was comparable to the classical trend found in other opera houses built at the same time in Lyon and Bordeaux. In 1919, a fire almost completely destroyed the house, leaving only the stone colonnade and peristyle from the original facade. 77-78. The classical facade was restored and the opera house reconstructed in a predominantly Art Deco style, as the result of a major competition. Currently the Opera de Marseille stages 6 or 7 operas each year. 79. Since 1972, the Ballet National de Marseille has performed at the Opera House. Its director from its foundation to 1998 was Roland Petit. Popular events and festivals. There are several popular festivals in different neighborhoods, with concerts, animations, and outdoor bars, like the Fête du Panier in June. On the 21st of June, there are dozens of free concerts in the city as part of France's Fête de la Musique, featuring music from all over the world. Being free events, many Marseille residents attend. Marseille hosts a gay pride event in early July. In 2013, Marseille hosted Europride, an international LGBT event. The 10th of July 2080, at the beginning of July, there is the International Documentary Festival. 81. At the end of September, the electronic music festival Mars at Arc takes place. In October, the Fiesta des Suds offers many concerts of world music. 82. Hip-hop music. Marseille is also well known in France for its hip-hop music. 83. Bands like I Am originated from Marseille. Other known groups include Funky Family, PSY4 De La Rime, including rappers Soprano and Alonso, and Kenny Arcana. In a slightly different way, ragga music is represented by Massilia sound system. Food. Traditional Marseille bouillabaisse swordfish in olive oil with ratatouille and saffron rice pies. Parquets bouillabaisse is the most famous seafood dish of Marseille. It is a fish stew containing at least 3 varieties of very fresh local fish, typically red rascas, scorpion escoffer, sea robin, fr. grondin, and European conger, fr. congre. 84. It can include gilt-head bream, fr. dorade, turbot, monkfish, fr. lot or bordroie, mullet, or silver hake, fr. merlan, and it usually includes shellfish and other seafood such as sea urchins, fr. arsins, mussels, fr. moles, velvet crabs, fr. itrills, spider crab, fr. Aranese de mo, plus potatoes and vegetables. In the traditional version, the fish is served on a platter separate from the broth. 85. The broth is served with roux, a mayonnaise made with egg yolk, olive oil, red bell pepper, saffron, and garlic, spread on pieces of toasted bread or croutons. 86, 87. In Marseille, bouillabaisse is rarely made for fewer than 10 people. The more people who share the meal, and the more different fish that are included, the better the bouillabaisse. 88. Aioli is a sauce made from raw garlic, lemon juice, eggs and olive oil, served with boiled fish, hard-boiled eggs and cooked vegetables. 86. Anquillade is a paste made from anchovies, garlic, and olive oil, spread on bread or served with raw vegetables. 86. Baride is a soup made with white fish, monkfish, European sea bass, whiting, etc., and aioli. 89. Forgus is a flat Provençal bread, similar to the Italian focaccia. It is traditionally baked in a wood oven and sometimes filled with olives, cheese or anchovies. Navette de Marseille are, in the words of food writer M.F.K. Fisher, little boat-shaped cookies, tough dough tasting vaguely of orange peel, smelling better than they are. 90. Farina to hash French variations is chickpea flour boiled into a thick mush, allowed to firm up, then cut into blocks and fried. 91. Pastis is an alcoholic beverage made with aniseed and spice. It is extremely popular in the region. 92. Pieds parquets is a dish prepared from sheep's feet and offal. 89. Pistou is a combination of crushed fresh basil and garlic with olive oil, similar to the Italian pesto. The soup or pistou combines pistou in a broth with pasta and vegetables. 86. Tapenade is a paste made from chopped olives, capers, and olive oil. Sometimes anchovies may be added. 93. Films set in Marseille. Marseille has been the setting for many films. Main sites. Marseille is listed as a major center of art and history. The city has many museums and galleries, and there are many ancient buildings and churches of historical interest. Central Marseille. Le Panier Quarter with the Hôtel de Ville and the Church of Notre Dame des Écoles La Vieille Charité. Most of the attractions of Marseille, including shopping areas, are located in the 1st, 2nd, 6th and 7th arrondissements. These include Sad Smiley 94, 95, the Old Port or Vieux Port, the main harbor and marina of the city. It is guarded by two massive forts, Fort St. Nicholas and Fort St. Jean, and is one of the main places to eat in the city. Dozens of cafes line Thute front. The Quai des Belges at the end of the harbor is the site of the daily fish market. Much of the northern quayside area was rebuilt by the architect Fernand Pouyen after its destruction by the Nazis in 1943. The Hôtel de Ville, City Hall, a Baroque building dating from the 17th century. The Centre Brosse and the adjacent Rue Saint-Feriol district, including Rue de Rome and Rue Paradis, the main shopping area in central Marseille. The Porte d'Ailly, a triumphal arch commemorating French victories in the Spanish expedition. The Hôtel d'Ailly, a former hospital in Le Panier, transformed into an intercontinental hotel in 2013. La Vieille Charité in Le Panier, an architecturally significant building designed by the Puget brothers. The central Baroque chapel is situated in a courtyard lined with arcaded galleries. Originally built as an almshouse, it is now home to an archaeological museum and a gallery of African and Asian art, as well as bookshops and a cafe. It also houses the Marseille International Poetry Center. 96. The Cathedral of Saint Marie Major or La Major, founded in the 4th century, enlarged in the 11th century and completely rebuilt in the second half of the 19th century by the architects Léon Vaudoyer and Henri-Jacques Esprandieu. The present-day cathedral is a gigantic edifice in Romano-Byzantine style. A Romanesque transept, choir and altar survive from the older medieval cathedral, spared from complete destruction only as a result of public protests at the time. The 12th century parish church of St. Laurent and adjoining 17th century chapel of St. Catherine on the quayside near the cathedral. The Abbey of St. Victor, one of the oldest places of Christian worship in Europe. Its 5th century crypt and catacombs occupy the site of a Hellenic burial ground, later used for Christian martyrs and venerated ever since. Continuing a medieval tradition, 97. Every year at Candlemas a Black Madonna from the crypt is carried in procession along Rue Saint for a blessing from the Archbishop, followed by a mass and the distribution of navettes and green votive candles. Museums. The Abbey of St. Victor and the Basilica of Notre Dame de la Garde, in addition to the two in the Centre de la Vieille Charite, described above. The main museums are Sad Smiley 98. The Musée des Civilisations de l'Europe et de la Méditerranée, MUCEM, and the Villa Méditerranée reinaugurated in 2013. The MUCEM is devoted to the history and culture of European and Mediterranean civilizations. The adjacent Villa Méditerranée, an international center for cultural and artistic interchange, is partially constructed underwater. The site is linked by footbridges to the Fort Saint-Jean and to the Pania. 99, 100. The Musée Regards de Provence, opened in 2013, is located between the Cathedral of Notre Dame de la Marge and the Fort Saint-Jean. It occupies a converted port building constructed in 1945 to monitor and control potential seaborne health hazards, in particular epidemics. It now houses a permanent collection of historical artworks from Provence as well as temporary exhibitions. 101. The Musée du Vieux Marseille, housed in the 16th century Maison Diamantie, describing everyday life in Marseille from the 18th century onwards. The Musée des Docks Romains preserves in situ the remains of Roman commercial warehouses, and has a small collection of objects dating from the Greek period to the Middle Ages, that were uncovered on the site or retrieved from shipwrecks. The Marseille History Museum, Musée d'Histoire de Marseille, devoted to the history of the town, located in the Centre Place. It contains remains of the Greek and Roman history of Marseille as well as the best preserved hull of a 6th century boat in the world. Ancient remains from the Hellenic port are displayed in the adjacent archaeological gardens, the Jardin des Vestiges. The Musée Cantinae, a museum of modern art near the Palais de Justice. It houses artworks associated with Marseille as well as several works by Picasso. The Musée Gros Bet Labadie, opposite the Palais Longchamp, houses an exceptional collection of European objets d'art and old musical instruments. The 19th century Palais Longchamp, designed by Esprandieu, is located in the Parc Longchamp. Built on a grand scale, this Italianate colonnaded building rises up behind a vast monumental fountain with cascading waterfalls. The Jodéo marks and masks the entry point off the Canal de Provence into Marseille. Its two wings house the Musée des Beaux-Arts de Marseille, a fine arts museum, and the Natural History Museum, Muséum d'Histoire Naturelle de Marseille. The Château Boilly is located in the Parc Boilly, a park off the Bay of Marseille with the Jardin Botanique em Heckle, a botanical garden. The Museum of the Decorative Arts, Fashion and Ceramics opened in the renovated chateau in June 2013. 102. The Musée d'Art Contemporain de Marseille, MAC, a museum of contemporary art, opened in 1994. It is devoted to American and European art from the 1960s to the present day. 103. The Musée du Terroir Marseillais in Château-Gummert, devoted to Provençal crafts and traditions. 104. The MUCEM, Musée Copyright Symbole Regards de Provence and Villa Méditerranée Copyright Symbole, with Notre Dame de la Marge on the right. The MUCEM, Musée Gardes de Provence and Villa Méditerranée, with Notre Dame de la Marge on the right. The 16th century Maison diamond, a copyright symbol E which houses the Muse, copyright symbol E du Vieux Marseille. The 16th century Maison diamond Teuhic houses the Musée du Vieux Marseille. The music room in the Grobet Labadie, a copyright symbol museum. The music room in the Grobet Labadie Museum. The Palais Longchamp with its monumental fountain. The Palais Longchamp with its monumental fountain. Outside central Marseille. The Calanque of Sugeton in the 9th arrondissement of Marseille Lève Château d'If. The main attractions outside the city centre include Sad Smiley 95, the 19th century Basilica of Notre Dame de la Garde, an enormous Romano-Byzantine basilica built by architect Esprandieu in the hills to the south of the Old Port. The terrace offers views of Marseille and its surroundings. 105. The State Velodrome, the home stadium of the city's main football team, Olympique de Marseille. The Unite D Habitation, an influential and iconic modernist building designed by the Swiss architect Le Corbusier in 1952. On the third floor is the gastronomic restaurant, Le Venta de l'Architecte. On the roof is the contemporary Galerie Marmot, opened in 2013. The Docks de Marseille, a 19th century warehouse transformed into offices. 106. The Faro Gardens, a park with views of the Mediterranean and the Old Port. 107. The Corniche, a waterfront road between the Old Port and the Bay of Marseille. 107. The beaches at the Prado, Pointe Rouge, Les Goudes, Corlalong and Le Profit. 108. The Calanques, a mountainous coastal area, is home to Calanques National Park, which became France's 10th national park in 2012. 109, 110. The islands of the Frioul archipelago in the Bay of Marseille, accessible by ferry from the Old Port. The prison of Château d'If was one of the settings for The Count of Monte Cristo, the novel by Alexandre Dumas. 111. The neighboring islands of Rétanio and Pomix are joined by a man-made breakwater. The site of a former garrison and quarantine hospital, these islands are also of interest for their marine wildlife. Education. A number of the faculties of the three universities that comprise AE Marseille University are located in Marseille Université de Provence AE Marseille I. Hollywood-style Marseille Seine Université de la Méditerranée AE Marseille II. Université Paul Cézanne AE Marseille III. In addition, Marseille has four grandes écoles Centrale de Marseille, part of Central Graduate School. École pour l'informatique et les nouvelles technologies. Institut Polytechnique des Sciences Avancées. Kedge Business School. The main French research bodies, including the CNRS, INSERM and INRA, are all well represented in Marseille. Scientific research is concentrated at several sites across the city, including Lumini, where there are institutes in developmental biology, the IBTM, immunology, CIML, marine sciences and neurobiology, IND, at the CNRS Joseph A. Guire campus, a world-renowned institute of molecular and environmental microbiology, and at the Timon Hospital site, known for work in medical microbiology. Marseille is also home to the headquarters of the IRD, which promotes research into questions affecting developing countries. Transport. Motorways around Marseille, international and regional transport. Marseille-Provence Airport, the fifth busiest in France. The city is served by an international airport, Marseille-Provence Airport, Le Quotidien Marigny. The airport is the fifth busiest French airport, and known the fourth most important European traffic growth in 2012. 112. An extensive network of motorways connects Marseille to the north and west, a 7, Aix-en-Provence in the north, a 51, Toulon, a 50, and the French Riviera, a 8, to the east. Gare de Marseille Saint-Charles is Marseille's main railway station. It operates direct regional